Dude, that looks badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Just don't ask me about it.
Hey, just show the brand, man. That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. I like one of those backgrounds for sure. I think that's what I would go with for sure.
Yeah, I just wish I had my green little beep in the background. Have you seen those that attach to the back of the chair?
Yeah, I actually have. Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
And I just have to make sure it's set up right too. So let me elevate my laptop just a smudge, because then it'd be Tex-Mex for what?
There you go. That's perfect right there.
Oh yeah, Tex-Mex for all. Okay, yeah. Good. Yeah, you're right in the middle there. Prime time. Cool. All right, I'm gonna intro it. We'll get into a little segment called This or That, and then we'll just roll into everything, man. Should be pretty nice.
All right. Well, let's get going. I'm down.
West Tijuana. Welcome back to Delivering More, folks. I'm your host, Ben Alkire, and as always, we appreciate you tuning in morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you can consume the content. We love it. As always, if you could, though, hit that subscribe button down below. That's going to help us out more than you could ever know. I have another great tandem of guests with me here this beautiful Friday morning. I have co-host Aaron Hoffman in the building.
What's up?
Canton, Ohio. How was the hour drive this morning?
Not fun.
Yeah,
I had 2 hours of testing before this, and from a different perspective. But man, it was a rainy, cold, was not ideal.
Yeah, we're coming off a week where it was like 75 and sunny, and then this week it's supposed to be like 45 and rainy.
I do,
so
especially if you're listening out there from we're from Northeast Ohio, where like April it's like you get 70 here. I mean, that's insane in April.
Yeah, and we hit it the first week of April. Yeah, now we came back down to earth fairly quickly there. So we'll hopefully we'll get on the golf course sometime this week. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's like we'll always figure it out.
Yeah, we always find a way. And I will lead right in then to our featured guest on the pod. We have Vice President of Operation Excellence and Off Premises of Tijuana Flats, Wes Patrick, joining us today. Wes, how you doing?
Great. How are you guys today?
I'm doing well, man. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you from the beautiful sunny Florida in Maitland, Florida. So just north of Orlando.
My parents live in the Villages, so I'm frequently down there. Obviously, down in Orlando, man, like they just like golf paradise. You have so many courses, and you name it.
Yeah, Orlando's that's where Tijuana's headquarters is. Orlando as well.
Yeah, here in Maitland, Florida. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I've only been to Orlando once, and that was during our little driver meetup trip last year. Orlando's nice. It's I'm not a huge being in Florida, not near a body of water guy though. That kind of always perplexes me why people migrate to Orlando.
Yeah, it's other than the mosquitoes, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. See, I'm the exact opposite. I am not. I mean, I like looking at the ocean, right? But I do not like going on the beach. The sand, it bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me. It
are you a Disneyland, Disney World guy, or whichever one's out there?
Universal. So believe it or not, I have not got to hit those grounds just quite yet. So those are going to be my summer fun activities. So get a pass and hit up all the parks multiple times and pay for itself.
Nice, man.
Oh yeah, that would be a good time.
You have to do it like that for sure.
That's the way to do it. We're gonna kick it off here with a little icebreaker, Wes. We like to call it This or That. We're gonna give you 5 little quick in and outs. We'll expand on the answers if need be. We want to back and forth this one here, Aaron, too. We're gonna start out here though with early mornings or late nights.
That's easy. Early mornings. Get the day started early.
What time's that alarm clock going off there for you?
Well, it depends on the day of the week, but I like to say I sleep in until 6 on the weekend. So we're going to be waking up around 5 o'clock in the morning, if not a little bit earlier.
A machine, man. Well, it's like when you're in operations, and off premise, like you got to be ready, man. You got to be an early riser. You have to.
Yeah, I think I'm usually waking up without an alarm around 8 a.m. on weekends. So I mean, I'm not too far off that battlefront. It's not terrible.
I like split the difference here between you guys. I'm like basically that 6:30, 7 a.m. guy on the weekends. So
okay. All right.
If there's a long night, it might be a little later.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah. There's always some variables tossing.
Especially at conferences. What
do we got for this next one?
Okay, Wes. Would you rather be hot or cold? like temperature wise?
Man, that's a hard one. I'd rather be cold, just because I'm warm-blooded, and I'm an operator, so I like to stay busy. And so being hot just does so much of just not feeling too great. So I'd love to stay cold.
Staying cold. All right.
I'm
Yeah.
the same way, dude. You could hang meat in my basement, man. It is frigid down there. It is nice and cool. I'm the same way. Like, man, you're at 65, I'm sweating.
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite. I need my internal temp has to be like 100 for me to even get a bead of sweat going. So, yeah, I'm the opposite end of the spectrum there, but we'll keep it moving right along. This one's always interesting. Dogs or cats?
Well, this one's easy for me. Dogs.
Dogs. All right.
All right.
Assuming we got our own little
Cue the
pup
round of
there.
applause.
I have a few.
Phew. What's are we?
I have five French bulldogs. So during COVID,
Whoa.
my mom and dog, she actually had 7 puppies at the heat of COVID. And so long story short, fell in love with 3 that I couldn't get rid of, and kept a hold of them. So to answer your question, yes, that's 5 Frenchies. Yes, they're sometimes a handful, but they run in a pack and they're amazing.
Awesome, man.
That's wild. I do feel like though I have like the same mentality. Like if I have one dog that's around a bunch of others, they always stay together. So it's like it's harder to lose 5 dogs than it is 1 dog usually. I feel like is like a good frame of reference.
Yeah, they run in packs, man.
Yeah, facts.
Although Sky, she's like might be a lone wolf.
Yeah,
man. I don't
yeah.
know. She's a
she
big, she's a big
disappears
pup,
some
man.
mornings. It can be tough out there for me sometimes. What do we got next, Aaron?
Okay, I know the answer to this just from our dinner we had in Texas, Wes. Do you prefer books or movies?
Movies.
And if I remember correctly, all right, Wes is a big Harry Potter fan.
Oh.
I am a big Harry Potter fan, 100%.
I think our team has like typically
Harry Potter night.
yeah, Harry Potter nights here where we'll like watch a one of the movies and then like dissect it afterwards. People, 20, 30 people come in here and watch this with popcorn and their kids. It's awesome. There's a lot of Harry Potter fans to deliver that.
Facts. What's your favorite movie or favorite book? Are you a book over the movie guy?
So that's a hard one. There's a lot more details, of course, in the books, but when it comes to the movies and bringing the book to life, that's a very hard question on what's my favorite movie out of all of them. Could be Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yeah,
Finish it
the
off.
finale. Yeah, that's tough.
Did you see that they're doing a TV show, like a spinoff now?
Yeah, HBO Max. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
We'll see how it's like we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. It's always gonna be tough recasting like such a famous group together and like trying to rebrand it completely. So that'll be super interesting. We'll close it out here. Last one: cooking at home or going out to eat.
Man, that's a hard question because I love cooking at home, but I love dining out and trying new places. Aaron and I got to have some really next level food in Dallas, a year ago. And so those are the little things that we enjoy most. So I guess dining out, just to try new things, explore new restaurants and cuisines.
If I can put you on the spot here real quick, obviously our hedgehog brand here, Tijuana Flats, but if you have to delve out anywhere, maybe like a fine dining place, maybe not like fast casual, so we don't have to pick a competitor. Like are you like a steak guy, an Italian, like a pasta guy? Where's your go-to fine dining?
That's hard. That's a hard one, man. I love a good steak. So
we tore up Town Hearth last year.
man, that's a
That
hard
dinner.
one. It's not fine dining, but it is what it is. It'd be Texas Roadhouse. They
Yeah.
actually
Dude, they make
some
good
really
steak,
good
They have a good steak.
steaks.
Yeah, those rolls
The loaded
too.
baked
Pound
potato.
those rolls. Those rolls are so good. Just basket after basket. All right. Texas Roadhouse. We're literally not 30
doors
feet
down.
from a Texas Roadhouse.
Couple
So that's
doors down, man.
always smell it walking out of work. It's so good. Cool. All right. Well, that was this or that. I appreciate you taking a quick 5 to 10 to knock that out with us. Get to know each other a little bit better. I'll be very honest with you, Wes. I usually do a good bit of research on our guests to try and get like some background, like where they were from, where they grew up, things like that. You're a bit of a ghost on the World Wide Web. I don't know if that's purposeful or what, but aside from your LinkedIn, I really couldn't find anything. I truly could not get a thing. So we're going to start out here just so I can get my basics. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Where were you born?
Well, see, that's the best part, not having social media. I mean, I'm a TikToker, so sure. Yeah. So where am I from? I was born and raised in Oklahoma, and I moved to Dallas early on in my early teens. And most recently just moved here to Orlando to be part of the Tijuana Flats team.
That's impressive. So what, are we talking I don't know Oklahoma.
Oklahoma City.
Okay,
Southwest
so right
Oklahoma City,
okay.
born and raised.
Perfect. That's what I was going to ask. So you, are you a Cowboy or a Sooner then?
I have to stay true to my roots, and that would be I'd be a Sooner fan.
Okay. All right. Does that make you by the transitive property of Philadelphia Eagles for Jalen Hurts or no?
No.
We're a Cowboy. We're a Cowboy for our time in Dallas.
Did you ask if it's a Cowboy or like professional and college sports?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Oklahoma State's the Cowboys.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sooners, Oklahoma.
Duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. Okay. But for the pro, are we Dallas Cowboys then?
Yeah. Let's skip that question.
Skip it.
No.
To be quite honest, I'll be transparent. When it comes to football, I'm more of a baseball guy. So if I had to choose any of the sports, I'll watch football all day long. But when it comes to actual sports, I'll watch some baseball because that's what I did growing up, was playing baseball from T-ball all the way up. So.
Oh yeah.
See, you're
a
talking
couple of baseball guys here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Ben's a big Guardian. I think the biggest Guardian fan I know.
Yeah. I'm gonna be at every Dollar Dog night there is this year. Facts.
There you go. Bada bing, bada boom.
Cool. All right. And then I guess my usually next talking point is this was very apparent kind of in your background based off LinkedIn. This is why I love kind of these conversations is the restaurant industry is always kind of bred from folks who have been within it their entire lives. And your background, as far as I could tell, starting at a little restaurant called El Chico as a server, maybe a waiter, things like that. Then we go to Chili's and Applebee's as a general manager, then all the way up through TGI Fridays. Walk us through your time beginning in the restaurant industries and then how we get to Tijuana Flats where we are today.
Sure. So there's, of course, time before that. So my very first job was a mom and pop restaurant in Oklahoma City. And so I started out there as a host and, had my fun with hosting, serving, as well as, cooking, washing dishes, cleaning the bathroom several times. It was 24 hours. So during the summertime, I got to experience the bar crowd late at night. So that was quite interesting in itself, and which made me, love, being in a restaurant even more. Of course, just the people in general and the experience that you can bring to everybody that dines with you. So after that, I worked for El Chico, and I worked for El Chico for a very long time. I started there as a chipper, which is walking around with chips and queso as a host, and then quickly rolled into a server. And so ultimately, that was one of my favorite brands to work for. There, as a server, I got to do a little bit of catering and bring additional sales inside the restaurant. So that's kind of also what started the catering portion of me, is that being instilled in me back in the day. And then working for Chili's and Applebee's, that all in itself is a great, structure, and gives you a sense of accountability and growing up through there and doing that for many years. But then most recently, prior to Tijuana Flats, was TGI Fridays. And I went in as a project manager and quickly grew into my role, and most recently role was the director of global off-premise business. So that was a large shoes to fill, but not just being off premise, but on premise as well. That was really one of the big things there. And one thing that you always hear me say, just in conversation, is that even though the title says off premise, you have to be great on premise before you can be a great off premise. And so when you really think about, how the brands have grown over the years, is that anybody that does great on premise, 99% of the time, they're going to do it great off premise. And if they're not, then you need to really dial in on those different pieces. And so that's kind of my history and background with my job history. And I don't know if you have any other questions.
Yeah, very, very impressive. I think it's pretty uniform too. It's like the restaurant industry is like the mob. Like once you're in, you can't get out. Like I started my first job with Subway, made sandwiches. It's like, look, 15 years later, doing deliveries.
Doing food delivery. That's your time with TGI Fridays in the off-premise realm. What was that during COVID, pre-COVID? What years were we there?
Yeah, I would say it was around COVID. So I've always had my hand in the off-premise from the PM to the director of domestic, director of global operations, and then the global of off-premise business. But that was the heat of COVID. Talking about being scrappy, we were truly scrappy at the time, and we found new ways of doing things, which ultimately saved the brand.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. Obviously, we've had a ton of conversation with other off-premise leaders, things like that, where COVID was just obviously a turning point for everyone, where you really got to adjust your business as a whole. I think for the Tijuana Flats aspect of things, when did you join Tijuana Flats?
I actually joined Tijuana Flats to start out the new year. So fresh out of the gates, January 2023.
Hell yeah. Hey, best time was the time is now. Is that what they say?
It's always now.
Yeah, the time is now.
That's 100%.
Yeah, that's amazing. I did want to kind of just run over some numbers with Tijuana Flats. As far as I could find right now, you guys are at 125 locations, possibly a couple more. We're in Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, Indiana, and Illinois. We have a brand new CEO in Joe Christina, brought on in late 2022 in October. Obviously, our boy here, Wes, joins in 2023. So we're doing a little bit of some reorganization. And then I see you guys have a huge undertaking over the next year or two to kind of revamp those Florida locations and really kind of take over like the Orlando market and Florida as a whole. So is that what the goal as Tijuana Flats is right now? Just like be the brand in Florida?
Well, I think we are the brand in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them, Wes. Come on, man.
This is our stomping grounds.
I like that.
I swear when I was down there about a month ago, I saw like 10 of your locations just driving from the airport to the villages. I mean, it was incredible. You guys definitely have a good presence down there.
Yeah, we stay true to ourselves for sure.
And then, so I think by 2025, we're supposed to have 50 more locations. So that'll take us around 175, maybe a little under 200. We're coming to Florida, Georgia, Alabama, North and South Carolina, and Tennessee. No Ohio, no Midwest. I mean, if you're in Indiana, you might as well be in Ohio. What are we doing here?
So to answer your question, our current focus is definitely expanding throughout the Southeast over the next several years. But we have no intention of slowing down our growth and momentum, but just to continue opening our locations for many years to come, to become a nationally known brand. So we really strive to ensure that, we stay true to ourselves, and we are going to stay focused on opening throughout Florida. We're well known, as Aaron just mentioned, and expand outside of Florida in a Southeast regional strategy. That's kind of where we're headed.
I mean, dude, you can't drive 10 miles and not see one.
Really?
It's insane.
I feel like when we were down there, I mean, we were in Orlando for 12 hours, maybe. Like we were there. We got there like 2 p.m., left at 6 a.m. the next morning. But I mean, so I guess I just didn't really navigate it that much.
You guys are also just doing driver-focused events. It's like when you drive and you'll see the signs. I mean, especially, when they're everywhere.
Yeah.
But Wes, what is your what's Tijuana's staple flagship product? Is it the burritos? Is it the bowls? Tacos? What are you guys known for?
Our tacos, and as well as our burritos. Those are our two Flats. Well, I mean, there's several Flats favorites, but those are our two very strong selling menu items.
And then what do you have a favorite custom menu item or a favorite menu item you would frequently get?
Oh man, now you're calling me out. I would say if you can't go wrong with our Dos tacos that filled with steak, they're delicious. I mean, the flavors are all there, and you can't forget about. I have to be careful, right, on the words. The kick-ass, hot sauce that we have. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's you bring up the hot sauce. I was reading about the brand with you got the hot sauce bar. So I'm a bit, I wouldn't take it as far as connoisseur, but I am a big hot sauce guy.
Same.
Love hot sauce.
Same. Love it. Give me
So
the hottest hot
yeah,
sauce you
just
got.
walk us through the hot sauce bar. Has that like always been a thing at Tijuana Flats? Is that like how extensive are we talking? How many sauces? Like what's the overarching thing here?
so we have about 12 to 15 hot sauces from the hot sauce bar. Our hot sauce bar is very centric to us, and that's kind of what we're known for as well. Is that while we're heating things up for the famous hot sauce bar, each location will have any hot sauces ranging from 12 to 15, and I can't always say all the names here, but there's some really great creative names that if you haven't visited Tijuana Flats and had the hot sauces, you definitely need to try it. And it all varies. So we have, won't make you cry to make you cry, or there's other hot sauces that will just make you cry in 2 seconds.
Yeah, I want that one.
Yeah.
I want the hottest one they got.
Do you guys sell them like in grocery stores or anything like that too?
Currently, no, but we've explored that. We've explored that in the past. But what really makes our hot sauces very unique is that these are made for us. Like we've crafted these, and so we use a lot of the raw products, which are very hard to get at sometimes. And so that's kind of really important to us. And so if we try to do that and manufacture that huge piece, it makes it difficult to keep that quality of the product and how we do it, because we make them in smaller batches versus people that make them in larger batches, and you don't get the same flavors as you normally would.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have some next time I'm down there. I'm going to just for the hot sauce. I'm going.
Yeah, you have to.
No doubt. But Wes, I think we're going to switch gears a little bit outside of hot sauces. So our platform is really geared towards catering, as you know. And a lot of our audience is drivers. So these next few, I guess this next topic and the questions associated, we more towards like catering specific, and more so how Tijuana Flats really views catering, the opportunity, the nuances. So if you could give me just like a quick overview about how Tijuana views catering. Is it core to the business? Is it just supplementary? What are you guys trying to accomplish with catering?
So I guess the question is, what are we trying to accomplish with catering?
Yeah, like what's just the overall mentality with catering at Tijuana Flats? Is it a real growth tool? Is it just supplemental? Like how do you guys view it?
Our catering growth is definitely going to be there in the upcoming years. I know that for a fact because the catering team that I have today is really kick-ass. They definitely look at things a different way, as in ensuring that the guest is taken care of and ensuring that the food that they're going to get, there's a follow-up, there's the pre and post. And so I think ultimately that's the attack that we're going. We're trying to set ourselves up for success in the future, but also stay true to ourselves and also keep our brand identity as one of the best. And so I know that we are the best, but how to keep it there.
I would say one thing that stands out to me too is just how great your guys' branding is. I mean, like you said earlier, if you're great on premise, more than not, that you're going to be great off premise. And I can tell you guys right now, you have some of the best branding I've seen. Our drivers love taking the deliveries. I think it stands out. And it's, with catering particularly, you might be delivering to guests that have never been to a Tijuana Flats, right? More than likely, you probably are. So that's a great first opportunity and a great impression you can make on these guests. Like, hey, this is Tijuana Flats. So now when they drive by in Orlando every 10 miles and they see your guys' logo, they're going to want to stop and have that same taco, that same burrito, right?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. Is that what you guys are typically seeing as your catering orders, just like a taco bar?
No, I mean, it's ranging from our taco bar to a number of our different bars. So, I mean, when you really think about the bowls or the salads, different pieces there that takes place, it just ranges. Like, yes, our taco bar is one of our top sellers, but ultimately, they love everything that we're providing to them.
So
yeah.
just a wide variety. So, you're talking salads, tacos, chips and salsa,
Some
burritos.
build your own burritos, I imagine.
Yeah,
are
you
out
guys
there.
got to come to Ohio because there's really not. I mean, you have a few up here, a few bigger brands, but I mean, it's just limited options with them. Is your guys' price per head? Is it pretty competitive? Is it around the $10, $12 mark?
Yeah, we're very competitive. We keep our ear to the ground to ensure that we stay competitive. But one thing that that we don't tell our guests, which we will be doing soon, is that when you do order catering from us, you're going to end up getting a Tijuana Flats logoed bag that's reusable. So it's a heated bag. Kind of help our drivers as well that might not have a bag for some reason, or everything won't fit. We also give that to our guests, as well as when you order a beverage, one thing that's really interesting that others don't really do but do is that they don't give ice when they order beverages, which is weird in some cases. So like if I've had different caterings a few times here and there where we're like, we need ice. Well, you ordered tea, you ordered this, and we're like, yeah, but they didn't give us ice. So that's already an upfront piece that we provide to our guests because it just makes sense. But also if you need sternos and chafing dishes, all those different pieces that are disposable, we also just give to our guests when they order catering. So others are charging, we're giving it away. So there's a value for our guests instantly there.
Yeah, I think the bag thing is like a no-brainer.
We've been preaching that forever, man.
It's just being so proactive about it, because I think, like you said, like one of the main things with drivers is like, are they going to show up with the equipment or not? And I would hope that 95% of our drivers do, unless they're like a brand new driver. But even then, if the restaurant's able to cater them and say, hey, just take this bag, customer gets to keep it afterward, well, then you don't even have to worry about it to begin with. It just is what it is.
I mean, and again, back to the branding aspect too. Like that person might go and pick up they
might go get their groceries later.
Yeah, it might pick up another to-go order with that bag. I mean, you name it, groceries. Yeah. It's branding,
Someone sees
man. It's marketing.
They subconsciously are like, yeah, I'll get Tijuana later. Why not?
Yeah,
that's amazing. I think in terms of like the catering deliveries as a whole, obviously we want them to go perfectly, seamlessly, everything like that. But what do you want the customer experience to be like for a Tijuana Flats catering order? Do you want obviously you want them to feel satisfied, happy, and everything with the process, but what are you guys looking to get from the customer experience for a catering delivery?
Well, we want our guests to not only feel full and satisfied, but excited for their next Tijuana Flats experience. But the end goal is to ensure that we foster a great relationship by building trust, as well as the overall guest satisfaction and quality catering to have a lifelong Tijuana Flats guest. And so when we look at that in itself, the setup needs to be right. The order needs to be 100% accurate. Ultimately, this is our promise to our guests. And so when you really think about like expectations on those different pieces, that's, to me, order accuracy is a big piece, because if we're lying to the guest, whether that's being on time or being not on time, then we're just hurting the brand and the guest overall experience and slowing down what they have planned. And we want to make sure that we're excelling that beyond any of our competitors.
I can tell it firsthand they do a great job.
Yeah, for sure.
Great job. What are some some operational hurdles? I know it can't go perfect every time, right? There's just it's not possible. Especially if a restaurant short-staffed, there's a driver shortage like there was months ago. Who knows what the reason is? But like when things don't go right, or that'll be another question in a minute. But like what are some major things that you see right now, like as just operational hurdles when it comes to catering? Is it food prep? Is it packaging? Is it finding great partners to deliver the food? Or if you have in-house drivers, do you guys have trouble there? Like what are the big operational hurdles?
Well, for operations, when you see a catering order, you're like, uh-oh, how big is this catering order? And then you see, okay, it's not that big, or it is a big catering order. How can I quickly, pivot to get this out the door and and ensure driver shows up, or ensure your in-house driver is able to show up, be there, and deliver it. But from an operational pieces, I believe that since our food is so fresh and we cook it daily, is that, ensuring that it's prepped, ready to rock and roll. My catering team, Lori, Cassandra, and Ashley, they do a fantastic job ensuring that the restaurant is set up for success, as in calling the day of, calling the day before, calling the day of, and just ensuring that they're set up, ready to go. Anything from, providing them additional recipes or an order sheet to quickly execute those items. And so while there are opportunities, and while there are, those different caveats that take place when it comes to an order that's large or small, the catering team here at Tijuana Flats goes above and beyond to ensure that the guest is well taken care of and they're well communicated to the entire way. So I think from the operation side of what we do to the end result with the guest is ultimately fantastic. But again, from the operations piece, is just probably getting it all into the pans, ready to rock and roll, and keeping it hot along the way.
Yeah, it's impressive. I think so. Obviously, we are as of this, whenever this podcast will be released in a month or so, a couple weeks, Tijuana Flats and DeliverThat are officially partners in the delivery realm.
Catering delivery realm.
Yeah, catering delivery.
Catering's
mile.
different, Wes.
And I just wanted to basically ask your opinion on, what were you guys seeing on your end that influenced you to outreach to, other providers? I assume it wasn't just DeliverThat you guys were looking into, things like that. What were you guys looking for as a resource, and how important is like the setup and the branding aspect of these deliveries like you spoke on? Is that like a major focus for you guys as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's important to me as well as the brand, is that when the order is delivered to our guests, it's on time, it's 100% accurate, and ultimately the individual, whomever is delivering it, whether it's in-house or DeliverThat, we want to make sure that they're presentable, knowledgeable, friendly, and goes above and beyond to ensure our guests are satisfied. And so that could be setting it up, that could be just making sure that the whole ease of getting it from the vehicle to where they need it set up is clear. And whether the guest wants it set up or not, we provide maybe even a diagram how they can best set up that individual kit. That kind of also sets us up for the repeat business with our guests. But ultimately, yes, we wanted to work with DeliverThat because Aaron back in Dallas had sold me on what sets them apart, and it was clear from our panel that we sat on that they were different. And I think I even said it on stage. I was like, "Dadgummit, I should have hung out with you earlier than later." So,
hey, well, I appreciate that, Wes. It means a lot, man. Seriously, it really does, Ben.
Yeah, those
gives,
dinners pay off.
It gives validity to what we're doing here. It's actually making an impact, and I see it, every day with our thousands of drivers. We're delivering for brands just like Tijuana, and we're doing it at such a high level. I don't want to make this into a sales pitch or talk about DeliverThat because it's not. But Tijuana Flats has been a great partner so far. Their their food travels well. The drivers love, and the big thing for us is the drivers want to take the deliveries. They want to take your guys' brand's deliveries, and that means just as much as you guys being happy.
Makes it easier on both sides.
Because if you get drivers energized to want to take your, they're going to feel like they're part of your team now, right? They want to deliver for Tijuana. They're going to get to know your store employees, on a first name basis. I know we had a driver last week that reached out to us at some point. He's taken 1,200 or 1,300 deliveries for us over the last 2-3 years, and specifically called out how great Tijuana was. To me, that means the world, man.
I think it was Brian in Florida, wasn't it? It was the guy we met at one of our meetups. Man,
yeah, it could have been Brian. I forget the gentleman's name. I didn't talk to him. Yeah. I just saw it. But you guys have been great to work with so far.
Well, I can tell you that Catherine and Cody have been fantastic along the way, from an easy, quick setup from start to finish. So huge shout out to your team for the support there, and we appreciate it as well.
Wes, I remember you talking to me before previously, your previous role, that you manage the partnerships with some of the bigger, third-party apps. Can you kind of talk about just the huge benefits, like what you saw there, and maybe like some of like the like I said, the operational issues or like some of the stuff that you saw and how you guys combat it? Like what is it like managing a partnership like that?
So managing a partnership at a national level with the three PD big players, I mean, to be completely honest, it's all about having a two-way street, ensuring that the open line of communication is there, and being honest and transparent with them. Hey, here are my opportunities. Are you seeing the same across the other brands? If no, then we're doing something completely wrong. If yes, all right, how do we be the best? How can we fix these different things? But then also, like I said, it's a two-way street. It's important to be, just as us being transparent, as the partner being transparent on driver reliability, what they can do to help, grow that individual market when there is a driver reliability issue, but just really working as a partner, testing new things with each other without, wanting to adjust a commission rate or wanting to do something different. That's going to, ultimately cost money. It's just like, hey, I'll test this for you. Or, hey, have you thought about this idea? No. All right, cool. You guys are going to put that in the pipeline. Really working with the individual third party to test different things that you might have an idea on to grow their business as well as yours. And so I think that's the big piece, is having a two-way street and always being honest and transparent in your weekly conversations or bi-weekly conversations with them will grow your partnership, as well as the trust that they have in you, to even ask you to pilot or test things.
Because I hear a lot of brands that work with the 3PDs, for me personally, I see a huge benefit, a huge value add that they serve. Just me personally, I'm an Uber Eats user. I get delivered probably once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and I know what to expect off of their app. I get to see a bevy of options, one card, it's saved in one app. They have a rewards program. Do you see these third-party delivery companies as, I want to call it, a necessary evil or an asset to you?
Well, I think that they're more of an asset now than before. Before, delivery was just like, it's delivery. But I believe over time we've grown to have this conveniency when it comes to choosing how we dine. And so I think the conveniency itself is kind of where it's at. Could we all improve on that side to help the guest experience no matter how they choose to dine? Yes, but ultimately that's it. It's a convenience.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah, convenience is key for everyone.
People like convenient things.
The restaurants, the delivery service, and the customer. Convenience is always going to be the major key. I think for me, we talked about obviously the partnership side of things. Just as a whole, the catering delivery, should it go 100%? You get there, the order's 100% correct. It's on time. The setup looks great. The driver shows up. He's a stud. She's a stud. Looks presentable. Does their job. Asks the customer everything. Sets everything up perfect. Goes the extra mile. Goes and grabs them napkins from another room or something. Everything goes as seamless as possible. What are the benefits of a catering delivery that goes that well and that seamless? What does that do for your business at the end of all that?
Well, that's definitely a successful catering delivery. So it's going to be repeat customers. Ultimately, they're going to want to repeat that order and that individual service that we just provided for current events. And so that's going to ultimately lead into a long-term relationship with the customer or with the guest. But as long as it goes successful, that's like the biggest free marketing campaign out there is word of mouth. That's a powerful tool. And as well as repeat orders. Those are the three areas that can definitely happen. And I think with repeat orders, there's a way to really set yourself apart from everybody else. And this is sharing probably, the details of what the team works so diligently on here.
Give us the secret sauce.
We want to make sure that there's the opportunity to have a surprise and delight with our guests, and ensuring that we provide a thank you card to the guest when they're ordering multiple times, and we identified that, and always seeking feedback from those guests, because, hey, what are we doing great? How could we make it even better? And so I think that's really what makes us thrive and has helped us grow our catering business.
I love it, man. It's all about relationships, especially with catering. You think about it, a successful catering delivery goes well. The next time that person, whoever's in charge, had to order, maybe it's a sales rep, a farmer rep. Maybe it's a secretary that handles, boardroom meetings.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they're going to think of Tijuana Flats with good quality, great delivery, on time. They're probably going to be what they call the office hero, So, yeah, I mean, I think that there's so much power in when catering goes well. So much power.
And then I did see, I mean, like you said, you mentioned earlier, all the new eyeballs. Wes mentioned as well, the prospective customers who just have the good experience with that brand, who might now come into your store later on. I think I do want to focus a little bit though on a possible negative. What do we do as the delivery service provider or the restaurant provider when that experience does not go as it was expected to? If that customer is missing one of the main entree items, or
driver shows up late.
Yeah, or they don't get the tongs, or the driver shows up and they only show up with a soft shell bag, not the heating bag, and for some reason the Tijuana bag wasn't able to be provided or something. So the food's not as hot as it should have been when it gets to the customer. What are things we can be doing as a partnership here to make sure those customers either come back to try you guys a second time or try you guys again, or at least we don't lose that interaction as a whole?
Yeah, so I guess first and foremost, it's important for us and drivers to take responsibility for the mistake or issue that occurred, and of course apologize. But empathy and understanding can go a long way towards diffusing a potential negative situation. So after apologizing, it's important to us to definitely take action and address the issue. So by making things right, as such as, whether it's tongs forgotten or whether the food is cold, we do what we need to do to make it right, whether that's remaking the order and getting it out to the guest, and or comping that order and ensuring that we can maybe go to on site and actually give them a better experience as a surprise and an apology as well. That's a big piece. The other part of it would be to also, if there is a late delivery, is to let the guests know in real time, like, hey, this is where we're at. The driver's stuck in traffic, or hey, whatever the case might be, we were slowed down. We're we're honest with our delivery partners. We're honest with our guests, and so we'll take full accountability for those individual pieces. But ultimately, it's by taking ownership and apologizing and taking action to address all the issues, whether it's driver or the restaurant's fault. So,
man, transparency is so important. Like you just said, more often than not, I know catering, you have specific windows to hit, but if you call and tell your guest, hey, we're running 10 minutes behind, 15 minutes behind, they're almost every time and be like, hey, that's not a problem. There's no issue there. So I think keeping the guest informed is super, it's so important, right? Transparency, man. I'll keep saying it.
Yeah, that's how, when Wes mentioned like the real time transparency, that's, hey,
if they're expecting 11:30, it's going to show up 11:45, just tell them.
Yeah.
It's like, they're more likely not going to be upset about it. They're not going to leave you a bad review, and they're probably going to, like you more because you are being transparent.
Right. And it also changes like the customer perspective. Like maybe like instead of that woman waiting outside at the door because she's like, the food's going to be here at 11:30, I want to be prepped for it. Well, if you guys send a automated text update, or you give the customer a call, hey, we're gonna be there 11:40. Well, maybe she has those 10 extra minutes. Now she can go tidy up a little bit more because she was rushed to meet the driver.
Exactly, man.
Like she knows how to utilize that extra 10 minutes now, and then she's still happy when that food gets there. So
it's food delivery. Like it I don't want to say it rarely goes to perfection, but especially with catering delivery, you have these small windows to hit. We pride ourselves on that quality piece, but even when it goes wrong, if you're just transparent, people understand. We're still humans,
Well, yeah, and also think about when you go into a restaurant and you're put on a wait, right? They tell you 15 minutes. Okay, well, it's 15 minutes. But if it's past that time, you say, hey, it's gonna be 5 more minutes. It starts out a clock in your head. That clock kind of just resets, per se, as in, okay, they know what they're talking about. Now, if it goes further and further and further along, and you keep on extending it, and that's where the trust is lost. But that's where you can build the trust and loyalty with your guest. And that's exactly what we do here at Tijuana Flats, is that we ensure that we keep that open line of communication with our guests to ensure that they know exactly what's going on.
I never thought about it like that.
I was just thinking.
That was such a great analogy, man.
Wait, Wes,
You just think about that right now?
No, that's been my belief the whole time.
That's such a great
I learned that
analogy.
back in the day, is that, you know, when you're sitting in the restaurant and you're waiting for, or out in your vehicle, whatever the case might be, and you have your little pager waiting for it to go off, and someone comes up and tells you, hey, the table that you wanted is not just yet ready. We have, you know, some campers that are, you know, enjoying their last few bites of their dessert. We'll have your table ready in X amount of minutes. So that's just like a thing that I used to do back in the days, that when I was managing restaurants, is just tell our guests how long it's going to be, rather overquote than underquote, but not to scare them away either. So it just gets a reset in your mind. It's just an ease to the guest.
But Wes, I think we got one more last question for you, man. And I don't know, I don't think you're an AI expert by any means, but I'd love to hear about Tijuana. If you guys are implementing any sort of, like, you know, with the Chat GPT going on, and, like, you know, AI starting to make an impact, and, you know, the industry as a whole, like, are you guys viewing that as are you utilizing any sort of AI right now, or robotics in any way, or is there a thought in the future to get into that, or is this something you just don't even know or care about right now?
So anybody that knows me knows that I love technology. So I'm an operator that loves technology. So ultimately, to answer your question, are we going to look at AI? Yes, we are. We feel that, you know, there's definitely a significant impact on the off-premise realm, particularly in the areas of like food and grocery delivery. But for example, many companies are already using robots and drones and to deliver packages and customer goods. So, I mean, I don't think that, I feel that ultimately it will have, you know, AI and robotics will continue to have some type of impact on the off-premise realm, and in a negative way, as in the guest ultimately needs that human interaction, just because there's sensitive information, right? So your credit card information, those different pieces, but also, like me, I'm a picky guest. I'm a picky eater. So when I need a customization that's beyond AI, I don't know if the AI could truly understand exactly how picky I am. And when I mean picky, I mean,
yeah,
I'm picky.
I'm in the same boat, Wes. It's like there's a place, at least, okay, now we're talking right now. We're not talking like 5-10 years from now, because, like, who knows where the technology is going to go? We don't know. If you say you know, you're just speculating, right? You just are at this point. We don't work for Google. We don't work for, you know, OpenAI or Microsoft. So, but I look at it like it's a very supplemental piece to the business right now. If you need help writing a menu, ChatGPT, or you know, certain copy on a website or on a menu, you know,
need some images of tacos.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, people always say, like, you know, are robots going to replace your catering? I'm like, they're not going to replace our catering drivers, because you would need a self-driving car, a robot that can physically talk to a guest and set up food to that, you know, work a mobile app, and, like, what would one of those be? One of those costs, so probably like millions of dollars just for one of that.
Multiple
it's like,
hundreds.
how do you scale that right now? And that's that. What about the infrastructure? What about the infrastructure to even support self-driving cars or robotics? You know, it's just like, for me, it's a light year away. It's not tomorrow or the next day. So, but AI right now, it has some real world applications, just not what it's cracked up to be at the moment.
But it could be one day.
Oh yeah, it will be. I know that I mean.
Yeah, well, one day, who knows?
Sci-fi route here.
We went down an iRobot tangent on one podcast, so we can save that.
Again.
We can say that for another time. Wes, you got anything on the top of your mind? Anything you want to ask us? Anything you want to discuss here before we conclude today's sit down?
Oh man, no. I mean, I know Aaron already, so I mean, I know he loves golf. So, no, I really don't have anything. I'm pretty pretty laid back. No questions right now. I guess maybe I should have thought of some, but
That's all good,
No,
man.
you're good.
No,
I'm just asking, make sure we don't leave no stone unturned. What if people want to find Tijuana Flats? Do you guys have an app on the phone? Do they go to a website? Where can they find you to reach out for catering orders? Run us down all that good stuff.
all right. So you can always go to TijuanaFlats.com to order online for Tijuana Flats near you, but you can also go to TijuanaFlats.com/catering, and that also will take you to our individual catering page. And you know what? One thing I did want to call out, and we might want to clip that. I guess maybe we can clip it in, but outside of where you can ordering on the app, and I guess the other piece I want to tell you is that most recently, to grow our catering sales that probably others are doing but not talking about it, is that Tijuana Flats actually just most recently paired up with Intel call center to take catering orders. And so that way it alleviates the pain from the restaurant side. So this could fall into the restaurant category of the craziness that happens there. But to eliminate, the confusion to eliminate the complexities for restaurants having to answer the phone, take large catering orders, as well as the catering team. So right now today, our guests are able to call the restaurant and/or our 844 number, which kind of takes them straight to my catering team, but to take their order or ask them or answer any questions. Right now, we rerouted that to anybody that calls a particular restaurant, or our 844 number will now get very educated individuals of our menu. I'm sorry, very educated individuals that have been trained on our menu to take all those different calls and answer those questions. And so to grow our catering sales even more, we're utilizing a call center here in Orlando to answer and field all our catering orders.
Best brands are doing this right now.
Yeah, the hotline.
You can't have your store store personnel taking phones while managing while making food, while working the line. It's tough, man. It really is.
Yeah, sorry, I meant to mention that earlier. I was
No,
like,
you're good.
put that in there.
I'm happy we got it brought up. Happy we jogged some memories. Well, Wes, I appreciate you joining us here. This beautiful. This will release on a Friday morning, but it is a Monday morning when we are recording this, and it was actually a part 2. We had to reschedule this. So again, thanks for the reschedule date and making some time for us. But we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Really enjoyed it, Wes.
And cheers to this partnership, man. Happy to join Tijuana Flats. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for all that you guys do every day.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.